Hello everybody and welcome to this Scouting Report. I'm Dan Haiek here with Matt Doyle, and today we're previewing the 2014 regular season for the San Jose Earthquakes. Matt, after Mark Watson took over in the middle of 2013, no team had a better record than the Quakes. They actually tied for points per game with Sporting KC during that stretch. What went so right for the second half in 2013, and is it something you expect to continue into 2014?
Well, first of all, it was defense. That's what went right with the Quakes. They were a sieve in the first half of the year. Everything got better in the second half of the year, primarily around Clarence Goodson coming into that team. He made a big difference from them organizationally and simply being superior in the air. I don't see why it wouldn't continue. Goodson, he's over 30. Victor Bernardez, over 30. But both those guys look like they have plenty in the take. Both will be gone for 2 months for the World Cup. But as long as those two are healthy, Sam Cronin in front of them, this is going to be a very, very good defensive team. And when you're that sound, it makes it that much easier to throw numbers forward. And oh yeah, when the Quakes threw numbers forward with conviction in 2012, they had 66 points. They won the Supporters' Shield. They were the best regular season team in the league. So could it continue? Yeah, it could continue.
Speaking of that 2012 team, one of the main features of that team were the overlapping fullbacks Justin Morrow and Steven Beitashour. They're no longer there. They both moved on to Canada. Expected to fill those gaps are Brandon Barklage and Jordan Stewart. Not sure if they're going to be able to do the same job that those two guys did. Also looking further up the attack, they added midfielder Jean-Baptiste Pirazzi and former Colorado man Atiba Harris. Are those two guys presumptive starters, do you think? And if so, how do they change the dynamic of the attack?
Well, first of all, starting with those fullbacks, neither Barklage nor Jordan Stewart, who played most of last season, are the threats going forward that Morrow and Beitashour were. So they're not going to get nearly as much from those pieces. Now, they could add someone else at right back. They have a couple trialists in camp as preseason winds down, but we don't know that they're definitely going to do so. Jean-Baptiste Pirazzi, look, he should be better than Rafa Baca was in 2013. Baca had a down year, which is why the Quakes decided he was expendable, and they sent him to Cruz Azul. If Pirazzi can replicate the form that Baca had in 2012 when the Quakes won the Supporters' Shield, they're going to be in good shape. But he doesn't come in known as an attacking player. He's considered more a box-to-box midfielder at best, or really a defensive midfielder for that Ajaccio team who he played for nearly 200 games in Ligue 1. But he does have a good pedigree. He is on the right side of 30. You expect him to be able to compete. The big question for me is the last one you brought up, Atiba Harris. We've seen him be a useful player, but I don't think he's the type of guy who can start 34 games for a team that wants to win a title. I think they have one big hole still to fill, and I think it's that right midfield position, assuming, of course, that Shea Salinas is healthy enough to get it done out left. Yeah, and that's been the question, really, for the last couple of years for San Jose, last 3 years. Can they stay healthy? When they do stay healthy, when they have all their pieces together, they're one of the best teams in the league. When they don't, they haven't been able to adjust.
Now you mentioned health there, and two guys that are expected to be back to full fitness here in 2014 are Alan Gordon and Steven Lenhart, such important pieces to that 2012 team that we keep referencing back to. If they are healthy, what is the ceiling for this team?
Well, if they're healthy and if Chris Wondolowski is healthy.
Him.
Yeah, he did play the second half of 2013 with a broken foot. I think it really did affect his finishing, but you saw he was healthy for the U.S. against South Korea, started off his year with a bang with 2 goals. Quakes fans will like to see that. If all 3 of those guys are healthy, it almost doesn't matter how they answer the other questions on the field because they're going to be able to outscore most teams.
Yeah.
That said, if they want to compete for the Supporters' Shield in an absolutely murderous West, they're going to need to be able to lock it down defensively like they did in 2013. If everything goes right, they will compete for the Shield. But that's a big if, and the Quakes have shown over the last couple of years they cannot compete with the best when they have depth issues. So they have to hope that the forwards and Shea Salinas and Jean-Baptiste Pirazzi and the entire back line all stay healthy. They can hit great heights, but they have less room for error than the other really, really good teams in MLS.
All right, well, this is a team that is competing in CCL, so they have that to worry about at the beginning of March, but sandwiched in between their quarterfinal games against Toluca is their opening MLS match against Real Salt Lake. That one takes place March 15th. It kicks off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch it on MLS Live.